Hey guys, it's MugenLord here, and I'm back again with another discussion video, and I want to stray away from the Tekken franchise a bit and talk about another franchise, and that's the Darksiders franchise. Now, the thing is, I've been a fan of this franchise for quite some time, ever since it was revealed way back in, I guess you could say, what, 2008, 2009, whenever the franchise was first revealed. And the thing is, I was literally looking forward to it because it reminded me a bit of, I guess you could say, Legend of Zelda, and it reminded me a little bit of Soul Reaver, and it had some God of War type type of gameplay elements to it with the whole real-time action button pressing and everything like that. So recently, Darksiders 3 was leaked with screenshots, images, and everything like that, and it had everyone going crazy because if you guys don't know, THQ, the company that originally had the Darksiders franchise, they underwent bankrupt. They had bankruptcy, and you know they pretty much were selling all their games, their franchises, and everything, and different companies were picking them up and everything. So everybody thought that Darksiders was going to pretty much going to be dead. No one's going to pick it up. No one's going to continue the series or the franchise at all. But then we had got the HD collection of Darksiders 1 and 2. So when that happened, there was a gleam of hope, especially for me, that they was going to continue this franchise and everything. So recently, I guess you could say yesterday, the game was revealed through a trailer. Now the thing is about the trailer, I think the trailer was awesome. It was a nice teaser to to get you, to set you up for the next protagonist in the game and everything like that. And what I like about this game is that they took some biblical lore, like the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and pretty much made these characters badasses, and they added story and lore around these characters. And I think it's a different twist on on something like this, on like lore like this. So I'm really hyped and I was really excited. Now the thing is, after I seen the trailer, it got me pretty much beefed up, excited. But on the other end, this game had pretty much pissed off a certain audience of people. And a lot of people were, some people were pretty much upset, saying that, that the social justice warriors or the industry is still pushing this agenda of female empowerment, and and this with the whole feminist movement and stuff, with these whole female leading characters and stuff like that, and it is seeping into the gaming community and stuff. So people are upset that the protagonist, which is one of the four horsemen, happens to be a female. Now, to me, you have my opinion on this is the fact is that you have to pick and choose your battles. Now, if you're an actual fan of this franchise, then you would know that one of the four horsemen, Strife, I believe that's her name or whatever, was originally from the beginning a female character. So I'm all on board with this decision, because if you follow the story, or if you've been paying attention to the story, because I think most people that's complaining about it probably have no idea, or haven't even played the game at all, or just heard of the game and never really seeped into it. But if you are a fan of the game and you're upset about this and haven't paid attention and didn't know that Strife was a female horseman, then I don't know what to say about that. And I'm totally on board with this. And the thing is, just to stray a little bit away from the whole, away from this game for a bit, I just want to talk about female leading video game characters in general. Now, the thing is, in most Japanese action games, role-playing games, you have a lot of female leading characters in video games. It seems like here in the United States that there's sort of like an issue. And the thing is, I see where both sides are coming from. And I think the main issue we live in a time, we live in a society now where everything is politically correct. Everyone has agendas that they want to push, and now we go to video games to escape reality. We go to video games to leave some of the bull crap that goes on in the real world. We come to our video games just to get away from it and invest into different worlds that's different from the world that we live in and everything. And then we're going into video games, and now whatever we experience in the real world, now we're seeing it seep into the video game world and stuff like that. So it's kind of like irritating and pissing a lot of gamers off. But as far as female characters concerned, and that's leading in games, I don't have an issue as long as it's implemented right, as long as it's done right, as long as it's not an agenda being pushed and everything, because what I like about my female characters is that female characters bring something different to the table compared to the male characters. Not saying one is better than the other, but both sides, both genders bring something different to the table. You know, a female character can bring her female perspective. She could bring her femininity, you know, to the gameplay, to the story and everything, because you've seen it from a female perspective. And that's what I think what makes the gameplay interesting from a female perspective is because of her femininity. Now, what I don't like about certain characters, female leading characters, is, and this you can find in not just video games, or you can also find in other medias like movies and stuff like that, and comics, is that they think in order to make a female character badass, they try to incorporate masculine traits in a female character. And to me, that defeats the whole purpose. If you're making her super masculine, then what's the point of having a female in there? Just give me a male character. So what makes, like I said, what makes an interesting character, a female character, is she you know, the story acknowledges that she's a female, she's a woman, she's feminine, and she's bringing that to the table. She's bringing her feminine traits to the table instead of giving her masculine traits and everything like that. So when I look at, unless the story, like I said before, unless the story give a perfect explanation to why she inherits certain masculine traits, then it would make perfect sense. Now, in Darksiders' case, it makes sense. I mean, look at them. They're the Horsemen of the apocalypse. They are meant to be badasses, you know. So when I look at Strife, who's a female horseman, I would expect her to be a badass. She has to be. She's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So it would make sense why she would be, you know, kicking ass and taking names and everything. So I'm all for this. And I remember back when Gears of War was first released, and they was, you know, pretty much releasing Gears of War games at the Gears of War games. And I can't remember which Gears of War that introduced female COG members. I believe it was Gears of War. It could be Gears of War 3. I believe it was Gears of War 3 when they first started introducing, it's been so long, and introducing female COG members into the game as actual playable characters in the multiplayer and the story and whatever like that. When they first revealed a female COG member, I was saying to myself, I've been playing, I've been looking at Gears of War. I played some of the Gears of War games, and I didn't realize that, well, yeah, there weren't really any female playable characters in Gears of War. But then when they did finally incorporate it, it made sense why they incorporated it. Now, for those who don't play Gears of War, because I haven't played Gears of War in a long time, I haven't even played the newest Gears of War that's on the Xbox One. But when Gears of War was first released, Gears of War had, if you wanted to follow the lore and follow the story, it was spread across different mediums, comic books, novels, or whatever type of media they had. You was able to get backstory on it. So when I was doing research on it and everything about why there are female COG members, it makes sense why, you know, there are female COG members, and why they have some of them have masculine traits within the lore of Gears of War. And so if you guys don't know, and I don't know how the story is now, it was 3, yeah, I don't know how the story is now with Gears of War, but I remember when I first read it, when they was battling against, when the COGs was battling against the Locusts and everything, the men were used for, you know, warfare. They were in the front lines. They were battling. The females were more so used for breeding, and more so used for giving birth to create more, you know, soldiers to go on the battlefield to protect mankind and everything. Now, the women who couldn't reproduce and the women that couldn't have children, they were better fit to go on the front lines and fight with the men. And it makes perfect sense, because if in a time of desperate, when it comes to war, and it comes to, I guess, when the human race is on the brink of extinction, everybody has to fit into their roles in order to keep civilization and keep human existence alive. The females have to breed and nurture and raise children so they can be able to fight, you know, grow up to be men, to be able to fight this war, to keep the human race alive, the human species alive. And the men go out there and protect what's left and protect the women and everything, so they continue to keep this going on or whatever like that. So the women that couldn't reproduce, it would make sense that, hey, if they can't do that, we might as well use these women and have these women fight out on the battlefield with these men. And now, since they're fighting on the battlefields with the men, of course they're going to go through the harsh training as the men. Of course they're going to have to experience death, and they have to experience war and watching their fellow COD members fall and die and everything. So of course these women are going to pick up masculine traits, and of course they're going to have to be hard and rough around the edges in order to survive out there and fight on the battlefield. So it makes perfect sense why you would implement, while some of these female characters would have to have some of these masculine traits. It makes perfect sense. So to bring it back to Darksiders, I think that having female horsemen, I think it's pretty cool, and it brings a different twist. And not only is she's a badass, she's goddamn sexy as well. So hopefully they add a sexy flair to her too, because that's what also adds spice, and it also makes a female protagonist different from a male character is her sexiness. She brings sexy to it too. So I would love to see the twist in what they would do with this female horseman. So that's pretty much my opinion on it. I'm all for female leading characters, as long as it's implemented right, as long as no agenda is being pushed, as long as it's not being forced on us, and we constantly being reminded that, hey, I'm a woman and I can be just as strong as you guys. As long as that's not going on, I'm all for it and everything. So that's my opinion. What do you guys think about it? Are you cool with a female horseman being for the Darksiders as the next protagonist for Darksiders 3? Or if you're not cool with it, just let's have a civil conversation about it. So that wraps everything up. If you have a discussion that you left for me to talk about concerning gaming or Mugen, make sure you leave it in the comment section below. This is MugenLord signing off.